among the youth. We also had some presentation on Industry 4.0 and 5.0 and future of work among TVET youths. Very, very insightful conversations that we had yesterday. And they were able to just tell us how we can put ourselves out there and benefit from innovation, science, and technology. And you can agree with me, there's nothing, what else are you doing if you're not in touch with your technology? I mean, it's all about technology at this particular day and age, technology, AI, and things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have our presentations from Dr. Michael Van Wyk from South Africa in a few. I will let you know at what particular point. We're also waiting for our principal, our chief principal, Madam Anne Mbogo. I'll be guided by Mr. Kihara, who is the deputy principal administration and the man in charge of the program. You let me know at what particular point we start, sir. I am here to be guided. We're also going to have a prayer from Miss Esther Mora. I don't know if Miss Esther Mora is here with us. There you are, lovely lady. Good to see you, Madam Mora. We'll be calling you in a few so that you can pray for us so that we can officially start this particular session. We also have a band today who will be entertaining us. Nice day. You let me know what time I panga you guys. Sawa. When you are ready, just let me know. It's also important that we hear you play something as early as now. So practice so that vidole zisihang. Very good. I hear the pianist is doing his thing. Very nice. All right, DJ, take it away kindly as we await for more direction from Mr. Kihara. Turn the cars.
Tutaendelea wakikuja ako around, ameenda kuchukuliwa.
Ameendewa.
Ameendewa.
We can pray.
Audience si mbaya, ni vile tu.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the second day of the first International Conference on Research, Innovation, Science, and Technology. Right now, we are about to start, and of course, let me just remind you of the theme of the day, that is harnessing research, innovation, and technology for sustainable economic development and youth empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite a very lovely lady all the way from SDA land. She's going to pray for us, Madam Mora. Boakire. Boakire. Mora hautasalimika? Eh? Oh, very nice. Karibu sana. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you. And let's all arise for a word of prayer. Let's wait for our principal. It's just on her way. Just a minute. Okay, thank you, Madam Principal. Let's bow down as we pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the blessings of this second day of the International Conference of Research, Innovation, Science and Technology here at Michuki National Polytechnic. We are grateful for the success of the first day, which was on yesterday, and for bringing us together once again in unity and good health. Lord, we thank you for our chief principal, Ms. Ann Mbogo. We want to thank you, God, for her guidance, dedication, and commitment for excellence at this institution. Bless her with continued wisdom, courage, and good health as she leads and inspires the Michuki community. We also remember our sponsors and partners whose generous support has made this conference possible. Bless them abundantly and reward their commitment to advancing research, science, and technology. Lord, we can't forget those ones who are on their way, coming, including Mr. Elijah Mwangi, Principal Secretary, State Department for Sports, who will be joining us here soon. Grant him wisdom, strength, and vision as he continues to serve our nation and support initiatives that empowers young people through innovation and research. We pray for our presenters who have shared and continue to share their knowledge and expertise. Grant them clarity, confidence, and inspiration. May their work spark meaningful, diagonal, and innovative resolutions. We also honor our guests and distinguished delegates, bless them for their presence, leadership, and encouragement. Lord, we thank you for all the event organizers and the planning committee who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the success of this conference. Reward their dedication, teamwork, and sacrifice. May their efforts bear lasting fruits. As we proceed this conference, today's session, grant us attentive mind, open hearts, and spirit of collaboration. May the ideas born here transform lives, strengthen institutions, and contribute positively to our nation and beyond. We commit the rest of this conference into your able hands and be with us throughout this day, for we pray and trust in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we are still standing, the chief principal, the deputy principals, the registrar, the deans, the tutors, the trainees, the exhibitors, and everybody who's here. Hi. Tafadhali eka mkono kwenye hewa. The government officers who are here, we also appreciate you. I'd like us to do a 5 factorial. We are going to start with our right hand. 5 factorial. We already know the 5 factorial, all right? We'll do 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. Are we together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have you seen what I've done? Let's try and do it together, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We are counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Thank you very much. We can have our seats, Asante. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going on to the first presentation from our very keynote speaker, all the way from South Africa. He goes by the name of Professor Michael M. Van Wyk. And the session chair for this particular session is going to be Dr. Frederick Agengo, who's going to invite our key speaker of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you of our theme of this particular conference. We are saying we are harnessing research, innovation, and technology for sustainable economic development and youth empowerment. And we are also honored to have our sponsors with us, the sponsors who've actually made this particular conference a success. We'd like to appreciate KNCCI Moranga, NCBA Bank, Equity Bank, Maguna's Supermarket, KCB Bank, Gown C, Graduation Gown East Africa, Coca-Cola Company, and Farmer's Choice. Thank you so much for being here and supporting this particular conference. Allow me also to mention the exhibitors who are exhibiting for the day, for the second day of the conference. We have KRA, we have KPLC, we have True Foods Limited, we have Nemsi Holdings Limited, we have New KCAC, we have Equatorial Nuts, and we have Amica. Thank you so much for being here. Our institutions who've been able to join us for the 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, we have Maraga TTI, We have Nyandarua and National Polytechnic. We have Nyeri National Polytechnic, Thika TTI, Meru National Polytechnic, Mokeria TTI, Moranga TTI, PC Kenyanjui TTI, and Chuka TVC. Thank you so much for being here. We truly do appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, now allow me, put your hands together to welcome Dr. Frederick Agengo. Tumpigie makofi jamani, Dr. Frederick Daktari. Welcome. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Good morning once again. Well, it's another new day. We are continuing the activities of this research conference. I believe Prof is online. Is it okay? Okay, fine. Now, we have our first presenter of the day, Professor Michael M. Van Wyk. Professor Van Wyk is the departmental is a full professor in the Department of Curriculum and Instructional Studies in the University of South Africa. Prof is a distinguished scholar in teacher education, curriculum studies, and economic education. His research focuses on innovative pedagogy, particularly flipped learning, digital and AI supported teaching, prompt literacy, and ethical human-centered use of artificial intelligence in education. He has published extensively in accredited national and international journals, and is a respected contributor to scholarly debates on academic integrity, assessment, and transformative teaching practices in higher education and TVET contexts. Professor Van Wyk is also actively involved in postgraduate supervision, capacity building, and research mentorship, and regularly serves as a reviewer and an editor of academic journals. His work is widely recognized for bridging theory and practice with strong commitment to improving teaching quality, learner engagement, and equity in African education system. So let's welcome Prof as he's going to present to us his work early this morning. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Prof, you're welcome, and you're able to take on. We'll give you 30 minutes. That one will cover both the presentation and questions that may come from the audience from this side. Thank you, and feel most welcome. Just a minute, Prof. We are working on the sound system from this other side. Just a minute. Okay, it's fine. You can now pick on. Prof, just before you continue, maybe I think you can try to reintroduce yourself. I think the sound system is now clear. Not yet still. Not yet. We cannot still hear you. Okay, let's work on the sound system. I hope you can hear us from this other side. Let's try working on the sound system, then we get back to you. Okay, fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we are dealing with that, I'd just like to remind us of the objectives of this particular conference. The objectives of this conference. When we were thinking about the conference, when we were planning for almost 2 years, like Madam Chief Principal told me, for quite a long time, what did we have in mind? One of the objectives that we had in mind, we were to enhance partnership among TVET institutions, research organizations, industry, and communities. And you can agree with me, from yesterday's presentations, the turnout yesterday, we were probably able to achieve that. Ama namna gani? Is it true? Talk to me. Is it true? Exactly, because we had quite a number of TVETs that were represented here yesterday, and I think we were actually able to enhance some partnerships among the TVET institutions. The second objective, ladies and gentlemen, is to promote dialogue on the integration of digital technologies, green skills in training.
Yes, thank you so much, our presenter, Madam Dinda. Yes, we have been able to achieve the objectives of the conference so far. As has been alluded, the issues of collaborations with industry. We have industries that are feasibly here, partnering with us, and you can see them. They are doing their job, ensuring that also we are able to pick from the industry in terms of the quality. Always our peers has always indicated that we need the finesse when it comes to our product. And even as we go around, we're able to see if it is the bolts that are mechanically done, is our department able to do that? So we have some mentorship on that point. When it comes to the food industry, again, we are looking at the products that the industry has in terms of their branding, the quality, the consistency. Are we there yet in terms of the production that we are doing internally here? So we are looking at the marketing components. How well are we also marketing our components? So the partnership in industry goes far ahead to be able to also mentor us in terms of commercialization of our products, and so that we can also go ahead and create industrial hubs within our institution, and that is an achievement. We're also looking at the discussions that are going forth in terms of the technology. The 4.0 and 5.0, where yesterday we have been informed that technology is not just coming to replace human being, but if we have to be relevant and if we have to step up for the future skills and for the future innovations, then the human mind shall have to be incorporated. So we are challenging each and every one of us coming up with an innovation, with something that they can do, that they know that they are pioneers, they are the pioneers of the technology. So the technology will require a human hand to be able to excel or to be able to be sustainable. And therefore, it is up to us to wake up. At a time of transition, I'm remembering way back when the phones came, many people were reluctant, and they were thinking that probably these forms are recording this form information, the data insecurity and all that. But today, we cannot do without a phone on our hands. The other day I was looking at especially the regimes of the people that have gone before us. They were not techno-savvy even when it came to now what we are doing. We are doing procurement on EGP. We are doing transactions, payments on e-platforms, the electronic transfers. We are basically using mobile money and all that. And sometimes if you are not techno-savvy, then we are calling for those that are old and like those of my generation and earlier, that it is a time to transit, because if we have to remain relevant, if we have to remain feasible, then we have to embrace technology. And much more we continue to hear today. The topic today that we are just working on the internet is a very relevant topic, and that's why you see we are trying to get all of us seated here, because it is touching on our core mandate, and so that we continuously improve even in our delivery services when it comes to training and skilling, so that at the end of the day, we are also able to channel out graduates, because that is basically our products as TVETs, who are relevant even when it comes to the market, even when it comes to the industry, even when it comes to labor exports, they remain relevant. And basically, we are saying we continue. By the end of today, we shall give a conference communique to be able to look back and see that all the objectives have been achieved. And going forward, as we were challenged yesterday, is not a question of just doing research and reports and putting them on the shelf, but looking for actionable points, actionable areas, so that at the end of the day, we are also able to impact on this particular research conference. So it's not just a gathering, it's not just a discussion that leaves things on the table, but one that is able to go ahead and allocate resources as we also mobilize through our partners and through our State Department, and go ahead and also actualize the resolutions that will be an outcome of this particular research conference, so that next conference, then we can look back and take stock of the steps taken towards improvement of this sector, the TVET sector, improvement of the issues that have been highlighted both globally and also within the region of Africa and here in our nation, Kenya. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate our chief principal. Tupige makofi jamani. It's amazing to see that she's not just here seated. She sits and she listens. It's amazing. I want to put us on the spot. Are we ready? Let me know when you are ready, kindly. I know most of us were here yesterday. Were we not here? Sir, were you here yesterday? Partly, all right? You definitely must have learned something from some. What was your take-home point from yesterday's discussion? You can introduce yourself and probably tell us what you took home from yesterday.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Edward. I come from KRA. My take-home yesterday was partnerships, institutional partnerships between the learning centers, that's the TVETs, and the industry players. That was my take-home. How do we come up with mechanisms to do these partnerships? And I think that was it touched me very much, I must say. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us appreciate the gentleman from KRA. How do we partner? How do we create these collaborations? Madam Grace, maybe you could also tell us probably what you took home from yesterday's presentations.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So from yesterday's discussions, what I took home is that, especially for the youth whom we are training, they have to brace themselves to fit in a digital world. And in every area of training, or the technical areas, be it electrical, be it catering, whichever area or trade area they are in, they have to brace themselves for the digital transformation and have the digital skills to fit. And something else very key from the keynote speaker is that when we do research, if the research cannot be monetized, even the PhD, we should not have it in the first place. Thank you.
Very nice. Let us appreciate Madam Grace for her points. Good to see you, Daktari. Karibu sana. I'd like to come to this particular table. I think I saw some of you yesterday. Sindio? Sir, naona leo umevaa suti ya ukweli. Eh? Karibu sana. What was your take-home point from yesterday? You can introduce yourself and tell us what you learned from yesterday's presentations.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samuel Michuki, the Dean of Students for this Michuki National Polytechnic. Yesterday, I gathered a number of skills and knowledge. One is the strengthening of the industry and the institution of learning. The issue to do with the revolution of the industries in levels 4.0, 5.0. The issue of the actionable actions. Daktari hapa alituambia that yesterday that we should not focus more on thesis when it comes to postgraduates, but products. Those are some of the tangible items I learned yesterday. Thank you.
Very nice. Let us appreciate the Dean of Students. Dean, asante sana. Daktari, you can see at least people who are listening to your presentations. Very good. I'd like now to talk to the students, and they are smiling. Eh? Eh? I know you are praying. Please don't call me. Eh? Let me not pick. Somebody, you can just raise your hand and tell us probably what you learned from yesterday if you are here for the presentations. Anyone? I know the lead. Is it the, who do we call him? Kiongozi wa wanafunzi. How do we call? The president. Thank you very much. The president. Is the president here with us? The president is here with us. The president, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Nasitaki uko sawa. I know he has a point. He's our president. Can the president lack something to say, Bana? No. Let us appreciate our president just before he says something. Very good. Mr. President, you could probably introduce yourself and tell us what you learned from yesterday.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Caleb, an ICT student under computer science. What I learned yesterday is that as youth, we should research is not just a one-day dream. It's a process that takes resilience. And when doing research, just expect trolls, rejections, and that make you strong, and that make the final research to be productive and of sense. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the president. It doesn't matter how many no's you receive as you're doing your research, as you're presenting, as you're asking for collaboration, as you're asking for assistance, as you're looking for grants. Keep doing it until somebody will say yes. And of course, after you've received a no, what is your take-home point from that no? You go back to the drawing board, you come up with solutions, unatengeneza pale ambapo hapakuwa pazuri, then you go back and actually ask for what you were asking. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to task this particular table with our very lovely ladies. I believe I saw you yesterday. You were here, very present for the presentations. Probably you could just tell us what you learned from yesterday. You were not here. Then I saw wrong.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we were not here yesterday. We are from Kenya School of Agriculture, and we are glad to be here today. We believe that it's going to be a fruitful session interacting with everyone here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Tuwapigie makofi, let us appreciate them. Makosa imetokea kidogo, si hao niliona wengine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to the gentlemen on this particular end. Maybe you could give them the microphone. Wajiintroduce na watuambie what they took home from yesterday's presentations.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Martin Kamunya. I train at Michuki National Polytechnic. And my took home yesterday, a lot have been said, but one of the most recurring themes yesterday was all about transforming how we do training, bringing industry inside our training institutions, so that in the past there has been a lot of accusation maybe to the training institution, we are training what we want, but the industry wants this. So we bring that we bridge that gap between the industry and the training institution. The other one is from our esteemed doctor from the Uganda. He challenged us, what the dean has said, that we move toward research and innovation. We move towards a product. And once we get a product, we can be able to monetize that product, and that even like an institution, we can move away from relying heavily on issues to do with school fees. We can become self-reliant, innovating products as an IGA. So that was my talk.
Very nice. Let us appreciate him. Thank you very much. Maybe your colleague.
Good morning. I'm Zakaria from Electrical Department. My take home yesterday was the message from our PS, Dr. Esther Moria, the aspect of incorporating industry with learning, and she explained much more on the Singapore journey. And then in summary, she said that if we incorporate industry in learning, we will definitely be at Singapore, even if we are here. Also, my take home during the parallel session, I took one from one of our own presenter. He came up with an idea of a digital feedback system on digitalization, which means that if the research project is implemented fully, we can go directly to digitizing our feedback system instead of using the older traditional forms of suggestion boxes. Thank you very much.
Very good. Let us appreciate one of our rapporteurs, Tumpige Makofi. Thank you very much, sir. I don't know, sir, you have, you definitely, yeah, he definitely has something to say. Karibu sana.
Good morning. I am Adam from Michuki. Okay, my takeaway yesterday, much has been said, but one was the policy from Uganda, where they say that those who are in science are paid much higher than those doing other courses. That one was something that is a bit unique to us here in Kenya. Another takeaway was from KEBS, the director of KEBS Research, who said that they have about 2% that is assigned for research purposes. So they are able to partner with people to progress research. Thank you.
All right. Let us appreciate him. Let us appreciate him. Very good. So what happens to the people who are in arts, in creatives, if we are not earning as much as the people in science? What do we do? Professor, Dr. I know you said something yesterday, but maybe you could probably just repeat and advise us, the people in arts, the people in creatives, those of us who are not in science. What do we do so that we can actually level up with the people in science? Karibu.
Protocol observed. That is a hard one. Actually, I didn't believe that people were following, but I've so far received on my WhatsApp group people who are in this room, and they are circulating news in Uganda, whereby arts people have been raised 25% of their salary. Maybe they are wondering whether I said the wrong information. In 2022, 2022, the government increased scientists 400 times. That simply means in Uganda, a science person was earning 1 million, now they are earning 4 million. The arts people by then were earning around 800,000. When they increased by 25%, they are going to be earning 1.2, 1.3, and the science person is earning 4. Actually, classes are very hostile in Uganda because of this kind of line. Actually, sometimes, like in a school here, science teachers are seated this side, arts teachers are seated the other side, because it takes 1 month a science teacher to earn all the money a teacher is going to earn the whole term. The point here is, it started by policy. I actually saying that back then, there were very few people taking sciences. So in an effort to promote science, they had to put an incentive to it. Now, if you are in arts, actually the president, who is the fountain of honor, says we no longer need so many arts people because there are too many. However,
since it is creative art, how do we make our people doing arts become creative and innovative? Not doing the usual thing, but try to add value and position yourself in such a way that you become very competitive. There is space. Personally, as Obakiro, I believe that the biggest thing is to perfect what you're doing. Not because you were a doctor, not because you are an engineer, not because you are an arts person. We have arts person who can excel and perfect and innovate, and then they can excel. So outside the policy, I cannot say much, but in improving yourself, to me it is adding value to yourself every day. Even when you are an arts person, you can stand high and shine, and everything will be history. Thank you very much. However, I wanted to say one thing I learned yesterday. You didn't give me a chance, and this is my take-home back message to Uganda. The professor from, I've forgotten, who was in German, you know, yes, said something about Industry 5.0. Many of us had a lot of fear about AI. Actually, when he was talking, I was seeing this moment of silence. When they talk about AI, unless you are not human, the first thing to run into your body is that we are going to lose jobs. So people have tried to understand the future of AI versus employment. And as much as they are talking about that now it is not artificial intelligence but augmented intelligence, still you feel we may not be certain. So when she talked about blending artificial intelligence with humanity, it is one thing I want to take back home to our country, because I think we need that paradigm shift to appreciate that we cannot go wholesale to embrace AI. Actually, from manufacturing, there are things which can, like automation, which can be done. But you are automating and you are creating unemployment. And people are starving, they are not eating, and for you are planning to bring a very high-end machine, very expensive, to do work of 40 people or 50 people. So the issue of integrating humanity with perfection of AI, I think is what we need, than saying we should go AI 100%. I think this is, where the discussion of 5.0 actually touched me. Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate Daktari. Tupige Daktari Samuel Makofi. I agree with you when it comes to the combination of AI and the humans. Can you imagine if they got an AI, for the tutors who are here, an AI who can teach? Eh? What happens to our jobs as tutors? Where do we go? But can AI get to that level where it can teach without us as tutors being there really? Tutors in the house, where are you? I want to see the tutors. Can we get to that point where AI, tunaweza iachia darasa ifunze bila sisi kuwa hapo? What do you think?
Good morning. My name is Mother from Kenya School of Agriculture. I don't think so. You cannot leave a robot, maybe for example, I train crops. There's no way a robot will do a demonstration plot to show a student how different fertilizer application rates will affect kills. I don't think so.
So you're safe?
Yes, I am.
Oh, very good. Let us appreciate her. She's safe as a as a tutor who's teaching things to do with crop.
Yeah, I'm Nixon Nyambane from RVTTI. I teach ICT. To my side, talking about AI, I believe and trust that AI has come to ensure that we advance. In essence, we ensure that when we deliver the content in class, are we going to use AI to ensure that we implement the like the advancement,
Can
because
you hear me now?
because we may be able to find maybe some strategies that we may be able to employ so that when we deliver what is required in class, we use AI to advance it so that student can be able to retain and the student can be able to get enough content, enough information from what we are delivering. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us appreciate him to Mpigia Makofi. Asante. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take you back to Dr. Frederick Agengo so that he can actually take us through this particular session of the presentation from Dr. all the way from South Africa. Karibu.
Thank you so much. We had a delay because of the technical issues that we were having this morning, but I think we are now ready. Professor Van Wyk is online. I think, Professor, you can hear us?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you can take it up. We are giving you 30 minutes, and the 30 minutes are going to also involve the session of question and answer. So I hope you'll be able to keep that time. Thank you, and continue.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Thank you. First of all, for the wonderful introduction. Invite from Michuki National Polytechnic for the first international conference on the research, innovation, science and technology, 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 technology. I think from my side there is and technology. This landmark event presents a historic and a foundation milestone in the growth and academic trajectory of the Polytech. It is indeed a proud and defining moment for the institution. Now, first of all, I need to declare before I present, most of my students need to declare whether they are undergraduate, whether they are postgraduate, that they use certain tools, right? Okay, I was requested to start from the beginning. First of all, thank you very much. My presentation or my keynote is about transformative training. I will discuss that more in detail. I will also indicate technology-enhanced learning, how I use different generated AI technologies in teaching at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. My question is to the TVET or to the Polytechnics. Is it not time that you must flip the script to support student employment? That is the question I want to ask. And because I like to ask questions, I'm a teacher. And I want to say, first of all, congratulatory to the chair of the local organizing committee. I think this is the first you're making history, and you lay the foundations for growth and academic trajectory of your emerging scholars, not only of the professors, but of the emerging scholars, even your students, when your students want to move up with their qualifications and their studies. Now, as I said, most of my students, even before they do an assignment or anything else, they need to write a declaration. And at my institution, it's compulsory for every student to do a course. And whether you are undergraduate or postgraduate, whether you're an academic or a professor, whether you are the chief principal of the university, you need to complete a course. And that course is called academic integrity. And one of the values of my institution, UNISA, it's called ethical responsibility and collectivism. Now, for this presentation, for this keynote, I use two generated AI tools. I use Copilot and ChatGPT, and I use Google Scholar to look for my articles and other articles to help to prepare this presentation. Focus on transformative training and technology-enhanced learning. And my question is, why TVET or Polytechs must flip the script for youth employment? And then the keynote of which I will then develop through my own critical thinking, my scholarly judgment, and my reflective engagement, helped me through all my publications since 2009 up to 2026. But on Flip Learning, I have published more than 50 plus articles through my career. So based on that, you will see this cartoon. This is called a caricature. I use prompt literacy through Copilot or ChatGPT or any AI-generated platform. And you will see later in my presentation how is it important about the new currency in academia. I call it the academic currency. And that academic currency is called prompt literacy. And I believe every student, every academic, every manager must need to have that skill. And you will see what I have done already. Look at me, and they developed me in person like that. Now the focus of my keynote, distinguished leaders, managers, educators, industry partners, and young people whose future matter most. And in this time of the global geopolitical crisis and AI. So in this keynote, I ask a lot of questions because I'm trained as a teacher. We as teachers, we ask questions. And by the way, I teach now for the last 19 years online. So I don't have students face-to-face. So most of my students is online. I teach economics, and one of my modules have around 9,000 students. On a Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, I help the Department of Basic Education because UNISA have this big project. I teach 15,000 plus students in grade 12. We call it matric. That is the end of the secondary further education and training phase. So I teach them online. So teaching and learning is in my blood. But before I became a teacher, you will not realize I was a plumber. So I start my career off as a plumber. So all those who are sitting there, I could not go to university because I didn't have the money. I started my career off as a plumber, and in my plumber toolbox, there's a lot of spanners and stuff. So I still remember that experience. So after plumbing, I decided after 6.5 years, I went to university to do a degree. I could not do a degree because my results was not well, because of uprising in our country. Those years was the apartheid years, and I don't want to go back to that. But during that particular years, I then I could only study for a teacher's diploma, and that is how I started my career as a teacher. Now, in this keynote address, I want to ask you certain questions, and some of you can give me the answer. Is the geopolitical crisis affecting Kenya's economic growth? Now, why did I start with these questions? Secondly, is Kenya experiencing temporary economic shocks? Or are we confronting structural economic crisis that demands the radical policy reform in your country? Like in my country, we addressed that. Remember previously last year, we hosted the G20, and I was part of the panel on AI and digitalization. So I was part of the policies in my country about AI and digital transformation. Now, if the youth are willing to work, and they're sitting here in this presentation, are TVET colleges and polytechnics still training them for jobs that no longer exist? That's my question. And you will see one day that a company will not ask you for your degree. It will ask you what courses did you done on AI literacy and prompt literacy, and that will be the direction. And I believe the politics need to focus on short learning programs, micro-credentials, and shorter courses to empower and upskill students and even teachers in the field. Why did we need transformative training in politics? What are the key drivers for transformative learning? Is flipped pedagogy innovative strategy, which is the remedy for passive learning, while the industry needs graduates that is ready for the workplace? And what and how is this flipped pedagogy helping us? And what are research revealing about flipped pedagogy as an innovative teaching strategy? And how can I then use AI integrated into flipped pedagogy to empower my students with AI literacy and prompt literacy? So these are the questions that I want to lay on the table for you, who's lecturers, who's support staff, who's managers, as well as students. So let's look at the reality check in Kenya. On a daily basis, you are confronted with this. And these are global impact or effect, the economic growth of Kenya. We hear about climate change, environmental shocks, and by the way, the US have withdrawn from the Paris Climate Change Forum. Global inflation and cost of living, that have a major impact on Kenya economy. The geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East, like Israel and Palestine. Look at the crisis we have now in Russia and in Ukraine. And by the way, when I visited Ukraine in 2009, it was such a beautiful city. Today, it's ruins because of all the bombings and all the fightings there. And lastly, the global debt and financial market pressure. The World Forum was sitting this year, and the leaders there was now contemplating how they will then deal with the global debt and even the debt, the global financial crisis, even effective the currency of Kenya. So yes, your country cannot escape this global crisis. I call them poly-crisis, the poly-crisis in the world. Let's narrow it down now to the structural issues that Kenya is, your country is struggling, even my country the same. Your average, economic growth is actually about South Africa. By the way, I was shocked when I look at the World Bank stats, because economics is my subject and I deal on a daily basis with that. But when I look at that, your average last year, the previous year, 2024 and 2025, the average was 4.9. The previous year it was 5.2 in 2024, and in 2025 it was 4.9 or 8. And then I get the average of that. Then the rising public debt. When government is printing more money into the economy, what is happening there? The debt of the country is increasing now. And who must pay that off? You as you two sitting here and taxpayers. So where will that money come from? That money can be lower or reduced through employment. Another thing that we have to worry in your country is about the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is currently 7.49. In my country, I must tell it up front. Yes, South Africa look like our economy is so healthy. But unemployment last week was the second quarter released by the South African Reserve Bank in the quarterly bulletin. And I was shocked. It only decreased by 0.9. So our current is actually 4 times, say 5 times higher than yours. Our unemployment rate out of a population of 62 million, our unemployment rate is 32%. It's very high. And then there's also the widening gap of inequality. And government must look at that. Currently, we as a government in South Africa, we contribute to social security. We give a lot of social grants and all this stuff. Let's move on. Now, from there, from the country, what the country struggle with, now I narrow to youth unemployment. And now my question is if youth unemployment is driven by structural, economic, educational, and social failures, is the real crisis a lack of jobs? Or is there a systematic failure to prepare, absorb, and empower the Kenyan youth? I can see what is the main problem here. It's skills mismatch, because universities, polytechnics, and technicons, or TVET colleges, they are not aligned to the qualification. Say, for example, if I'm doing an undergraduate degree at Michuki National Polytechnic, and I did that degree, but if I go to university, then the university said, but the qualification or the skill is not met, so we can't give you credit. So that can be also a challenge. Even the job creation that your country is now moving to, limited job creation, lack of work experience, informal employment, and then a major disruption called AI. The technology disruption have impact and enhance unemployment further. There's economic instability and there's social inequality. And remember, when I talk about social inequality and marginalization, I'm talking about women now. So women are not getting their rightful place in the economy and so on. So those are the educational and social failures that Kenya need to display. Now, if the youth is sitting here, they have now a dream, and they said, if youth are willing to work, why is politics and TVET colleges still training them for jobs that no longer exist? Remember 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, when we started with ChatGPT, you still remember the hype. I wrote so many articles in that time frame. And by the way, there was COVID. By the way, I was teaching through COVID. There was no disruptions for me because I was already online. And because of the online platform, my university is an open distance university, I could teach my students online from home. The only thing that my students needed at that time was data for their computers. And by the way, the university released on that time, a week after we was in total lockdown for the students. So let us confront with a harder reality in Kenya. Youth unemployment is not caused by a lack of effort from young people. Yes, I heard now that some of the young people want to start their own projects. They want to become entrepreneurs. But it is caused by outdated curricula and training modules. How are you preparing them? So I'm speaking now to the academics and to the curriculum managers and developers. Please reflect on the curriculum that is currently at your disposal. You need to have a critical conversation and an honest viewpoint, how you would change that. Looking at how you train your students. I heard that one of the students there stand up and one of the lecturers said they're doing agricultural science. By the way, I helped a TVET college to develop their drones. So now the drones are flying over these vast lands of maize and or mealies or what is it? Is it potatoes? And then they take photos. Where is the problem in the soil? So now technology is there to be used. So we need to reskill. We need to retrain all our lecturers and even our students and revise our curriculum. So I always said, why is the industry always in front of us? And we, after only 5 years, then be looking at curriculum reviews. I think that is the wrong way. So the University of Michuki, I hope that the curriculum manager is listening here. You need to reflect every year what is then the challenges in the curriculum, what is still outdated, and you need to reskill and update those things. If TVET colleges are becoming engines of youth employment, so we need to increase transformative training, empowered by technology, enhanced teaching and learning, and then we need to empower the lecturers or the academics and the students to understand what is this new innovative pedagogy. Now, why do we need transformative training in politics? First of all, transformative training in the age of AI and assessment refers to the learning and development approach that fundamentally changes how learners acquire knowledge. And you will see, in 2015, I did this paradigm shift in my teaching. So when I ended up at University of South Africa, for 5 years, people, the lecturers were still busy with the old. I have moved away how to assess my students. So there was no more pen and paper exams. I moved on to alternative assessment. Later, we coined the term authentic assessment. So for authentic assessment, my students receive problem-based learning projects, research projects. I gave them the project and they have discussed it, and that is how we need to build. So transformative training, it must reshape our minds, must build adaptable skills and prepare the learners of the students for a complex and evolving landscape. Now, what are the key drivers for transformative learning? Personal learning. So when we introduce this in our courses, in our degrees, in our modules, yes, we need to think about personalized learning, and every learner will develop his own learning path. We need to give the students real-world relevance. We need to transform the skills that they need, and particular critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, digital literacy skills, and ethics. Ethics must be at the heart of every course. At UNISA, I developed a short learning program for lecturers. I developed a short learning program for prompt literacy and a short learning program for AI literacy. And if Michuki needs my skills, I'm available to come and help you, even with your policies. So you need to look at your policies. Authentic assessment practices. I did so many workshops for the Commonwealth of Learning. There's universities that I help with their policies. We draw up new frameworks for Eswatini, Mauritius, Namibia, Botswana, even Ghana. Professor Amponza, who's there at Ghana University. So I help them to do that. And then we need to help increase transformative learning through collaboration and experimental learning. Now, let me introduce you to a very important innovative approach that I use. I introduced in 2016 flip cap pedagogy. At that time, it was a new concept. I could not understand what is flip. And then I watched a movie on flipping the script. And after that movie, it lets me think, but if I no longer have examinations in my economics course, I have now authentic learning, how can I then introduce flip learning? So for me, flip learning became my innovative teaching strategy for remedy for passive learning. So most of my students was learning the graphs, your supply and demand, the national budget, unemployment, inflation, and poverty. That is the themes that that I teach in my course or economics. I felt most of my students they learn passive and rote learning, and they can get distinctions, but they can do nothing with the course at the end of the day. So that was my major rethinking, my critical conversation even with my colleagues. At that time, the college, 2015, the college asked me, are you the first one that moves away from examinations? I said, yes, I'm the first one, and I give a reason. And then my chair of the department wrote a memo to the Senate to say, Professor Michael van Wyk wants to move in a new direction with examinations, because in his examination, the economics, there's too much disciplinary hearing. Students are cheating, they're doing lots of stuff, and I have moved away. So I then use flip pedagogy with e-portfolios. So that is another thing that I can help you who's listening to me now. Now let's us change the script. You can see in chapter 10, I published a lot on this, flip pedagogy as a digital pedagogical strategy. So my students work online, they develop their own portfolio. In the portfolio, they develop different authentic assessment tasks. So my students engage with the theory before they come to my class online. By the way, it's not face-to-face or contact, everything is online. They study on their own. So I develop self-directed learners and autonomy learners. So when the students come to my class, they watch the short videos on unemployment, they watch the videos on poverty, they watch the videos on inflation in South Africa and globally. I help them with electronic sources. I provide the sources. Later, my students become content developers. So it's not me alone as the professor that develop the content, it's my students. So I acknowledge them when I develop the study guide. I said my PGC students or my BCom economic students was part in compiling this particular resource. All the videos, all the open educational resources, all the documents they develop, the students become part and parcel. So pedagogy is now innovative. And now I flip the script of the pedagogy. So I let the students first look at the problem at home. They prepare themselves. So when they come to my class online, I only discuss questions. I give my students questions. And so through that questioning, I increase the critical thinking skills of my students because I give them real world problems. And I also give them simulations. So now what is this innovative pedagogy? Number one, flip learning. You can see my students study on their own or in groups. And I ask my students, they must give them own groups. So I did not tell my students, you must belong to this group. They want to socialize, it's very important, and online presence is important. So when they come to my class, which is online through Microsoft Teams, and we use the platform Moodle. So on the Moodle platform, the students are now in the class, and they're sitting around South Africa. Some of them sitting internationally, some of them sitting in Australia, some of them sitting in China, which is registered with me. And they log into. Another thing of the flip learning or flip pedagogy is students can watch afterwards my videos. They can watch afterwards the things that I have covered in the. So there's no excuse for any students. And by the way, during COVID, my students know me that I'm on the platform. And so when the students respond in that session, when we are live, synchronous, then the students know that they can ask questions, but that is that. In the next session, next slide, I want to give you the 5-year. The 5-year, what research talks about what I have done from 2019 to 2025. So in this 6-year or 5-year period, I've done a lot of research on flip pedagogy. And you can read, you can Google me even now. If you're not on Google, you can Google Professor Michael M. van Wyk from UNISA, and you will get all my articles there. And I have published more than 50 plus articles on flip pedagogy. And in my lifespan, I published more than 185 articles thus far. That is without my master's and doctorate students. So What are the striking results? First, it increased attendance and engagement in them. By the way, the students are graded when they log into my system. So the system then generates a percentage of attendance. So there's no excuse for a student. If a student is lower than 50%, the system will warn the student to say, you will fail this course because you did not attend enough these classes. You need to do extra classes. So the cutoff is 60% on the system, and you can program the system because it's machine learning, it's artificial intelligence, so there's no excuse for a student to say he cannot attend your live sessions. So live sessions is important, is part of assessment, is part of my authentic assessment, is part of my yeah. So I'm seeing then technology as an enabler is not a distraction. By the way, technology cannot replace us. AI will not replace us as human beings. Why? Because we are doing different. If you look at the screen now, here is a very important book that I wrote, Prompt Literacy as Academic Currency. This is a very, very important book. This book is for every student, whether it's undergraduate, postgraduate, whether it's for every academic. If you cannot write good prompts, you cannot use effectively your generated AI tool, whether it's ChatGPT and so on and so on. And you can see all my research where I use AI technologies and I integrate it into flip pedagogy. You can see from undergraduate, postgraduate, the ChatGPT, the smart. By the way, this book, AI Smart Technologies, I received an award from Forbes Technology Council. My name was mentioned in the Forbes magazine. Under the Technology Council reviews. This book became the masterpiece now. And then the bigger picture for education. Pedagogy drives technology and not the way around. So it's not the technology, but the pedagogy is how you plan, how you do these things. So this will help freeing up your time. So what machines cannot do, or what AI cannot do, he cannot mentor. By the way, I try it now for the last 4 or 5 years. He cannot mentor me. He can only create, all right? And but remember, there's biasness. We inspire students like I inspire you. I move from a plumber to a professor. He can write it because it's my prompt that I ask him. I can challenge you. Sometimes I can challenge you at a particular level, but not all the time. And by the way, I cannot humanize you. You can dehumanize your pedagogy if you over-reliance on AI. Yeah. And then here is a call for everyone, a call for courage. Youth unemployment will not be resolved by policy documents alone. It will only be resolved in classrooms that look different. You can see my classroom was the first at University of South Africa in the College of Education that I have moved away from PowerPoints and all the stuff. I have moved away of the normal examination, pen and paper. I've moved to e-portfolios, authentic assessment. It must sound differently and it must feel differently because you want to accommodate your students. It will be resolved when we flip not only our pedagogy, but our mindsets. So we need to flip that. It's very important. And then the future of work is already here because AI have now increased in the capacity, and if we not change our mind, so the future of politics must catch up, and the future of our youth cannot wait now. Let us flip the script together, and I want to thank everyone that listening to my presentation. It's a pity that I'm not there to meet with you face to face, but in this case, and I want to say congratulations to the Kenyan rugby sevens. I was in sevens, and unfortunately, Kenya could not beat Germany in the final. But Kenya, next time you will be with us, the Blitzbokke. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Prof, for that piece of information that you've given us on AI. I think it is something that is very current, and the audience are very pleased to hear from you. I think because of time, I may only allow 2 questions from the audience or comments, because we also have other programs that we need to run with. So very quick, if you may have 2 questions or maybe comments, maybe one from this other side and one from the other side. Just 2. Yes, give a mic.
My question to Professor. Believe initially you are using the traditional method where you are going to class and delivering your materials or resources. Now, when you flipped the pedagogy or the approach, and the student or the training were expected to interact with the learning materials through videos and digital content, what are the challenges that you experience and how can you advise us on how to tackle them?
Maybe you can take all the questions, then Prof can answer them at once so that we can wind up the session.
First and foremost, congratulations, Prof, for very good presentation. Now looking at the geopolitical tension and advancement in technology, now as an economist, what is your take on this that may enable us to have a stable economy, bearing in mind that nowadays the war can be fought from the comfort of your nation or from your room? Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe, Prof, you can take those 2.
Okay. The first question was on the challenges. The first major challenge that I observe of my students, first of all, my students was not used to flip. They did not understand flip clearly. So my students was thinking that I must do all the teaching because they're coming out of a system that where they always are expected that the lecturer must do everything. That's the first one. The first one was the mindset of the students, to change the mindset of the students. Secondly, I have to inculcate a new learning style in my students, very important, because their learning style is different. The third problem that I experienced, or the challenge, was some of the students was not using the data, or some of them did not have gadgets like a laptop or a smartphone, and they struggling with data. That was also major. So that is the 3 major things. And the other thing is the students did not see that why they must be in my class online. So I then reflect the next year and I address all those things. That's the answer. I hope I've answered it. The geopolitical things. Remember Mr. Trump, when he came into office, he had introduced the Trump tariff systems. And Kenya was really impacted on that. Remember your currency, the Kenyan shilling was very hard hit. But I believe the Kenyans is very peace-loving people. That is what I can see. And I believe your president, when the president came here with his minister to the G20, it was such a beautiful scene that your president was meeting with my president, Cyril Ramaphosa. And I believe that helped us in Africa that we need to stand together as countries and reflect what we will do and not be bullied as my president said. But I do waste mentality or capitalism.
Okay, Prof, maybe I cut you short because of time. We have another program that is going to take place immediately after this. But otherwise, we say thank you. Thank you for keeping us informed. Thank you for making us aware of the new technologies that can support our learning processes within TVET. And of course, within Michuki, we say thank you for taking your time to be with us this morning. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Have a blessed day, Prof. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's give up a round of applause for Prof. as we finish the session. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Frederick. Let us appreciate Dr. for a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to move into another session of a plenary session. We have quite a number of panelists. I'll be introducing them one by one, and I'll call them to the stage kindly. The first one I'm going to call right now is Mr. Joseph Karue Mwai. Mr. Joseph Karue Mwai, the Center Manager, Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, FCRC, Embu. Where is Mr. Joseph Karue Mwai? Mr. Joseph Karue Mwai, let us appreciate him. Karibu sana. You may take your seat here. Karibu. The next lady, ladies and gentlemen, is Mrs. Rosemary Nyamu. Mrs. Rosemary Nyamu. Thank you very much. She's the Director, Kenya School of Agriculture, Nyeri. Let us appreciate her. Mrs. Rosemary Nyamu. Karibu sana, mami. All right, she wants to make a clarification.
Good morning once again. Yes, I'm Esther Karithi, of course, from Kenya School of Agriculture. I'm standing in for the director, Madam Rosemary Nyamu. Thank you.
All right, Madam Esther Karithi, karibu sana. We appreciate your presence. We also have Mrs. Florence Rukenya. Mrs. Florence Rukenya. Miss Florence Rukenya. Miss Florence Rukenya, ladies and gentlemen, let us appreciate her. The Talent Management Officer, True Foods. Karibu, Miss Florence Rukenya. We appreciate your presence. Karibu sana. I'm guided. Mr. Opondo kindly let me know if Dr. Peter Karanja, the CEO, Agritech Seedling Limited, is here. All right. Is Mr. Dr. Karanja here with us right now? All right, he's going to join us later. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the chair of this particular session one more time, speaking on leveraging Agritech and TVET for sustainable rural transformation, Dr. Frederick Agengo. One more time, let us appreciate him. Agengo, you are doing a wonderful job. Karibu sana.
Good morning once again. Principal and all other protocols observed. This very morning, we want to have a panel discussion with a team from a number of organizations, looking at the panel discussion topic on leveraging agri-tech in TVET for sustainable rural transformation. On my far right is Mr. Joseph Mwai, followed by Madam Esther Karithi and Florence Rukenya. Maybe I'll first of all start by giving the panel room to talk to you and also to just tell us their understanding about how agri-tech is going to change the future or is changing the future, because the future is here with us. And also to tell us the role of agri-tech in supporting the TVET activities. Maybe in 1 minute, my panelists, most welcome. In 1 minute, tell us how agri-tech is changing the future, or is, how agri-tech is changing the current happenings, as well as what agri-tech can do to improve the TVET sector. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Agri-tech, I would say, is the way to go in as far as economic empowerment of the rural livelihoods is concerned. You know, before then, many people have shunned, the rural environment. It's been seen as a place of, poverty and a lot of problems. But now with agri-tech, it transforms the rural environment, the rural livelihoods, as a hub of economic empowerment, because now there is increased productivity, efficiency, and that means pesa mfukoni, And that, in a sense, will reduce the rural-urban migration. So I will say that is the way to go. And of course, the TVET institutions then have a key role in imparting the relevant technological skills to the youth. Thank you.
Once again, good morning. Agritech, we really can't run away from technology. We can't run away from technology, it's here with us. And so what we need to ask ourselves is, what are we doing as a people at an individual level, as institutions? What are we doing to make sure that we are bringing change, that the technologies are making impact through us? Because I'm looking at a young person, I'm looking at the farmer, I'm looking at everyone back at home and wondering, are we really helping them with the technologies that we have, the technologies that are emerging, or we are forcing everyone to the to the urban areas because there's really nothing much in the rural areas. So let's think around that and let's ask ourselves, are we gonna make the rural areas an area where we would all want to run to and there's not even enough space, or are we still going to be migrating to the urban areas in search for better opportunities? Thank you.
Joseph?
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Let me say I'm privileged to work in a research organization as a research scientist, whereby we work one-on-one when it comes matters pertaining agri-tech. We are the people releasing all the new technologies, one-on-one, releasing new seed varieties. Not forgetting, we are suffering from what we call climate change. We can't run from that. Let it be drought, floods, yeah, limited land because of the maybe land rights, and so many things when it comes to research and releasing new technologies, when it comes to maybe seeds, when it comes to maybe new farming technologies, when it comes to maybe personnel and even professionals. We must work with or towards agri-tech. Why? Why are we doing this? 1, economic growth. 2, good yields. As a farmer, are you just doing agriculture just for the practice, or you are doing it to improve your status even in the community? 3, where are we heading to when it comes to matters pertaining innovation? It's a thing that we work at a partnership. Maybe we are privileged to have maybe the School of Agriculture here in Nyeri, Karo, one being a parastatal at agriculture. We have KEFIS. All these work hand in hand to improve agri-tech. And where does TVET comes in? 1, by training our attaches, training the staff. We come up with short courses whereby we train our trainers at the agriculture department, whereby they will be the peers out there together with the researchers to give out this outreach. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was our ice-breaking question. The panel has been able to highlight to us what agri-tech is all about and where the TVET normally comes in. Now, let's now get into the discussion. I'll start with you, Joseph. How can agri-tech basically improve the access to quality seeds? Because we are from the seed sector. How can this one be able to improve accessibility to quality seeds, especially from the smallholder farmers, and issues to do with ensuring that these farmers can be able to be informed about the seed quality, maybe from the TVET as a key player? Yes.
Thank you. To start with, we must know what is the difference between a seed and a grain. It has been a challenge to many of us to know what is the difference between a seed and a grain. 1, the seed certification process. How do you come up with certified seeds? Not forgetting there are very many fake seeds out here. You can bear me witness, most of us are farmers. You plant maize and it does not grow. Where do you get your seeds from? You all have to start from there, and we have to take that mistake that we do. Where do you get your seeds from? We have a lot of companies. Are they producing good seeds? What is a seed? A seed is something that you plant to get what? Yields. And when it comes to grains, you consume it. So to start with that, there is what we call seed certification process. How do you come up with this? There is what we call seed multiplication, whereby you have the basic seeds and then you multiply, where you replant to give you more seeds. And then we have what we call breeding stages, where you plant. There's a time I was doing some training somewhere and I said that there is male maize and there's female maize. And everybody was looking at me, oh, what are you talking about? Yeah? These are the ways that we come up with certified seeds. So under this, how do we help farmers, especially the small-scale farmers, to get quality seeds? And how do you check for quality seeds? Because there is a lot of fake seeds that has flooded in our market. In the agrovets, people buy seeds from the back of a Pro Box. You buy it from Wajiko Agrovets Limited with no certification process. Yeah, you have to ask for these certification certificates. Ask for them. Ask for KEFI certifications. Are you certified as a seed merchant? Or you work in Karo, we are doing a lot of seeds where we have subsidized prices. Like, let me take an example of maize. We are buying a packet of maize at 1,000, let's say, but in Karo you are selling one at 600 shillings. Why should you go somewhere else, get fake seeds at 1,000 shillings? Yeah, and then when it comes to small-scale farmers, bearing in mind, watu wa Murima, I come from Mount Kenya, watu wa Murima, the population is very high and the land is very scarce. How do we help these farmers to plant quality seeds to get high yields? Bearing in mind there is quality, what we call climate change. You plant seeds that are drought tolerant with high or maximum output. An example, there is what we call NAF CDP. Most of us have heard about NAF CDP, whereby we are working hand in hand with that program and the counties to pass these quality seeds or the quality information to the small-scale farmers. And where does TVET comes in? Now this is where we partner with the agricultural department and not forgetting training them on ways to pass this or to do outreach of the quality seeds. How do we do that? One, by doing roadside demos, demonstration plots. We also do exhibitions. We partner with them in ASK shows, our open week and field days. I believe we have been part and parcel with the TVETs, and we have worked in a good partnership. Thank you.
Maybe an insight from whatever the information that you've given to us. Apart from just asking the merchandise whether they have a certificate or not, do we have a digital tool that can be used to identify that these are quality seeds that farmers are able to use? And apart from just the partnership in terms of the demos within the ASK shows, do we have specific hands-on skills that can be taught to the TVET trainees so that they can be able to help the communities identify what we call the quality seeds?
Thank you. Let me say that under that, sorry, can I get your question? I've been distracted.
The question is, do you have a digital tool that the farmers can be able to use to identify quality seeds? And two, do we have specific hands-on skills that could be trained that could be given to the TVET trainees so that they can be able to help those in the communities to know that these are quality seeds?
Okay, let me start with the first question when it comes to the digital tool. In fact, knowing the difference between a quality seed and a fake seed, it's very simple. I wish I came with a packet. Whoever who has ever bought, or if you have been the privilege of buying seed from the agrovet, there is a sticker or what we call KEFIS label, whereby you scratch just like an airtime. You scratch, and then it will give you some numbers there, and then it tells you set this number to this number. After that, it will give you who is the seed merchant. No, who is the seed? Yes, seed merchant. Is it Caro Seeds? When was it released? When was it planted? Which season? And from that, you are going to know the viability of that seed. Not forgetting that the more the seed stays in the store, the viability declines. And also at the Caro, we have what we call Caro Digital Platform. What does it help? Under that digital platform, it will give you a list of all our seeds at what we call, there's a department called Caro Seeds, yeah? We have all our seeds and seedlings that we sell. If you do not meet, maybe take an example, if you don't meet Nyota beans in our platform, that means that is not our seed, that is fake seeds. It's not from Caro. Going to the second one, at Activate, are we doing what we call trainings to the agriculture trainers and trainees? Yes. How do we do it? For the trainees, we have what we call attachment programs, where we bring them on board and they are attached in all seed certification processes, starting from the feed, certification through KEFIS, registration of that seeds, and even releasing it. And when it comes to the other agricultural expertise, we give them short courses and what we call on-station or on-center trainings, whereby they come, we train them, maybe in a day or two or in a week's time, and after that training, we give them certificates.
Thank
That
you.
is how we support them.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on, Esther, you're from a training institution. You're dealing in the agriculture sector. Maybe from your perspective, how best can mid-level colleges or what we call the TVETs embed the agri-tech practices within the training program?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. Now, I think I need to say this, that for a very long time, we've majored on the theory bit of training and forgotten about the practical bit. And we always say we want our students to be, or our graduates, once they get out of the school, to be competent out there. But how are they going to be competent if we are just focused on giving them notes and lots of lectures and very little hands-on skills? So it's a challenge to us all, trainers and those in the training institutions, to always think of the best and the most practical ways in which we can engage our students and not just the theory bit, or reduce the theory at least, even if it's 20%, and then lots of practical. And about incorporating agri-tech, we could also incorporate agri-tech in our units. And when I talk about incorporating it, like it comes as a package. If I'm training crop production, there are definitely technologies in crop production that I can incorporate in my training, and my students or the end product will be in a position to utilize some of these technologies. And I know you know them, like precision agriculture, the use of drones, and so many other technologies in agriculture. Someone who is training agribusiness, we could talk about the marketing apps, digital platforms, and maybe just talking about marketing. I know mostly as trainers, especially crops and agriculture, mostly what we do is we train our graduates on how to produce, Cindy, the agronomy bit. And then once they've produced that, the particular crop that they have, what happens? Currently, we have people getting stuck with their produce. There's a market glut ya maembe, Cindy? Yeah? So there's a starting point and an ending point. A starting point in agriculture is start from the market, end with the market. But a starting point in the TVET, I would say, start with the industry, end with the industry. What does the industry really want? Yeah? What technologies are out there? What do we have for our students? Some of us have the yellow notes, sorry to say. The other bit is field exposure, especially in technology-driven farms. Do we have farms that are using technologies? Of course, there are quite a number. Do we take our students to those farms at least to see what we are doing, what the farms are doing, and how they are incorporating the technologies, and how our students can get hands-on skills on utilization of those technologies? Sometimes we are just confined in the lecture halls and then in the demonstration farms, and unfortunately, most of the institutions are not well resourced, or they are not well funded, so they even lack some of the key resources that could enable the students. But then that's not the end. We can always have our students go for exposure visits in farms that we know they'll get to understand these technologies. And that's where they're going to work anyway after they've graduated. So it's very important for us to think about it. Then the other bit is incorporating basic digital skills. Sometime back, one could actually get a certificate on computer skills. See, some of us went to school kusoma computer, like I'm literally going for 3 months, I don't know, 6 months to learn computer. But these are skills, these are actually just basic skills like cooking, washing, yeah? So basic digital literacy is very important, and it doesn't just end with the graduate or with the student being able to operate a computer and all that, but it should actually be a point of motivating our students to even be able to develop apps that can help the communities around, or that can be solving a real life problem. Yeah. Then the other bit is, this actually I was just thinking widely. Have we had agri-tech competitions? Have we brought up institutions, various institutions, and the students are just showcasing different innovations in the agriculture sector and real life technologies? You know, sometimes we look at the Gen Zs and we think, watu ni sumbua tu. But let me tell you, their brains, they have great minds. If only we leverage on their potential, you'd see lots and lots of stuff. I've sat down with a few of my students, and I can tell you, if you'd be shocked what they would come up with. The other day, there's someone who came up with an app that could actually translate words, signs to words, or words to signs, yeah, that can be used by the deaf. So let's utilize the brains that our students have so that they can be able to actually grow and support not only the communities, but the country, and who knows, global. It's a global village. Thank you.
Maybe just in just one sentence, what do you think are the challenges that most of our TVET are facing in terms of meeting the expectations of the evolving agri-tech within the innovation platform?
Okay, one, I think it's resources. We are quite down on that, especially when I look at the agriculture sector and the funding that goes into that. Then the other bit is the curriculum. Yeah, the curriculum, if I look at the diploma or the certificate curriculum, it's actually quite confined. You'd realize that most of the things that you're supposed to train, some of them are outdated. Mm-hmm. So as a trainer, I have to be very intentional on what I train my students. I have to keep checking what's new, what's in the market, and so I can incorporate that in my own intentionality and being purposeful about it. So the curriculum, that's one key area that I think we need to look at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll now come to you, Ms. Rukenya. You're working within the food sector, food industry. I don't know, from your own perspective, how best is agri-tech reshaping the workforce, especially across the food value chain.
Okay, thank you. Agri-tech in reshaping the workforce in food value, agri-food value chains. Now, with agri-tech, it means that now it is not business as usual. It means that when it comes to workforce, we require high-skilled labor. It requires departure from the traditional way of doing things, traditional farming methods, traditional food production, food processing, and distribution methods. It now calls for somebody or a workforce that is able to use technology in production, in processing, and also in distribution. So we have a shift from use of low-skilled labor, labor that can only maybe do the planting, the weeding, and all that. There is a shift, or there has to be a shift, from low-skilled labor to use of high-skilled labor. That means we have emergence of new job opportunities in agri-tech. That means we need drone operators, we need people who can design smart agri-tech programs. We need data analysts who can be able to analyze the data in terms of the amount of production yield we expect, in terms of the supply chain trends,